Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome to today's live readings. If you have not done one of these with me before, what we are doing is you jump on, you get a chance to book a reading with me live. There is a link in the top of the chat. It is pinned to the top, so it's like blue. And then what I do next is I go through them in order in which they come in. And then the first person to book gets to be the first person I read here today. And then if you are seeing the link and you can book it, your reading will be done today. So one of the first questions people ask is, why is it for later? So the reason for that is because I have this software. If I say right now it's 4 p.m. Pacific time, if I set it up for 4 p.m., then at 4:01 p.m., it's going to disappear. It's going to say that appointment's over. So I set when you're booking the appointment, I set it for later so it doesn't disappear. But if you make the booking now, your chart will be first, and then whoever books second will be second and third and so on. So whenever we do these, you guys have a choice, and let me see. Okay, so you guys have a choice between three options. Option one is blocks. So that's going to be me looking at your natal chart and seeing, what is the biggest block in the chart, and then seeing what, if anything, you can do about it, or how that's going to present in your life, how it's going to show up. The second option is blessings. That's going to talk about what you have going for you, what good thing you have that you can work with in your chart. And the third thing is going to be transits, and that's going to tell you what's happening now. And I'm going to usually I start with whatever I see that is affecting you the most. So the transit report isn't like a breakdown of every single thing I see. It's the most important one. So that's why astrologers are good, because they can kind of like filter out the thing that's really going to be hitting you the most, that you're probably going to be feeling the most. Okay. So the way it works is you can go to the link in the chat, and whoever does that first will be first, and then we'll go through them, and then that'll be how we spend our Saturday night, which I think is a pretty good way to spend a Saturday night, if you ask me, but maybe I'm biased. We did just wrap up the Unlock Your Aspects course. If you were hoping to get into it but haven't yet, you can still join. Even though our live videos are finished, you can still join and get instant access to all 6 weeks of content, plus all of the several hours of video from before. So this course was a combination of live instruction from me, plus a pretty big library of videos from my Astro 101 course that I did a couple years back, I think. And so you get instant access to all of it. So if you want to know about essential dignity, if you want to know about house rulership, if you want to know about Pluto or the nodes and what they mean by sign and house or Chiron in your chart, if you want to know about how to put it all together, if you want to watch me read celebrity chart examples, then you should definitely check it out. All right, so enough about that. Let's talk about what we're doing now. What we are doing now today is live readings, and maybe, yes, we did get, let's make sure, yes, we got someone. So Dominica, would you mind chatting in the comments so I know who you are? And I will be getting your chart up, and you will be first. Anyone else jumping on, you can be second if you book now. And even if you book now and someone else books ahead of you, you'll still get your reading tonight. So Dominica, I'm just going to enter your chart now. I don't think I've read for you before. Okay. Oh, Dominica, yay, you're here. It's okay if people can't be here, but like, it's so much fun if you are. All right. So for anyone else jumping on, just letting you guys know we're doing live readings. Dominica is first, and then whoever books next will be next. So you can click the link at the top of the chat for more, and then we're going to go ahead and jump into Dominica's chart. Oh, that didn't. As soon as I am smart enough to figure it out, it's not liking your birthplace. So let me try typing it in. There it is. Okay, so let's pull up the chart. Dominica, this is going to be in whole sign, and you asked for transits. So we're going to do transits. And let me put those up here. What I do also is I'll set the timer for 5 minutes, and then I will keep talking as long as I want to after the 5 minutes. So you get a guaranteed 5 minutes. Okay, so transits. Let's go. Start. Okay, so I see, well, you're having a nodal return. I have a video on that if you want more info. But this would be a good time to really pay attention to what kind of fifth house activities end up beginning for you, like now-ish. And that's going to be like, I don't know, writing children's books, things with kids, having kids with Moon Jupiter here. I don't know if you want to. And I didn't even look at, yeah, I mean, maybe that's the thing, something with your kids, starting something with a new creative project or a new business going on. Really pay attention to that, because that's going to help you kind of understand that North Node. Don't feel like you're going to do it wrong, though, because I think a lot of people with the nodes, they start feeling like, yeah, so I'm single, no partner. That's okay. Great time to date right now with the North Node in your fifth house of romance. You know what I mean? Like, just now would be a really good time to date. But also with Saturn in your fourth, sometimes this is a tough time professionally, because you realize, sometimes you don't feel recognized. You don't feel like you're at the top of the game. You might be reconsidering what you want to be doing with your professional life and your career. And so just note, the way to work with Saturn through your fourth, one of the ways is to think about where you want to be professionally in 14 years and let it be okay if you're just planting seeds for that. Struggling with finding a new job for months. Okay. So that's okay. I mean, you don't have, Saturn here isn't going to be like you can never get a new job, but it is squaring your natal Saturn. And so this is kind of a big challenge to overcome for you right now. And let me see. I think maybe I'm just looking at Mercury, because Mercury rules your 10th house. Mercury is going to hit your ascendant in November, like November 4th, 5th. I'm not promising you'll get a new job at this time, but this might be a time where there's a little bit more fresh energy, a little bit more of an ability to see what you want to get, to be able to set your sights on what you want to do. So I would say don't give up. And it might even be that this is when someone gets back to you and then you get the new job or something. Okay. Also, Mars in the 8th might be, challenging especially if you have debt. Mars in the 8th is going to make that harder. If you don't have debt, it's probably not going to do that much to you. Let's see what else I see that's like important for you right now. Jupiter in the 7th. Now, I know you said you're single and everything, but when Jupiter's in your 7th, it's usually a good time to meet someone, to make new relationships and new friendships. However, Jupiter's retrograde, so I would think that perhaps if you're like, when is it more likely, in the next upcoming time, I would say after February, it's more likely. I would not say stop putting yourself out there, stop trying to meet people until then, but I would say that it's possible that Sometimes with Jupiter, the Jupiter cycle, once it goes direct after retrograde is when the new thing starts to manifest. And so don't think that means you can't get a job until then or anything, because Mercury's ruling your 10th house and Venus is ruling your midheaven. And it might also be that this nodal return is you finding a new type of work. That's like, let's see. Because right now the North Node is at 6. And I'm just trying to figure out which way it's going. Yeah, I think it's going to go, backwards. So let's just see when the North Node hits the North Node. So that would be the transiting North Node, aspecting your North Node, 1226. So around Christmas, we're looking at, maybe this is a new job. Maybe it's a new job where you get to be more creative. Thinking about relocating to another country. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I can't tell based on the chart whether you should or not. But I do see, let's see what else. I do see a change to your work coming up. It might not be a while, because I'm looking at Uranus and how it's going to retrograde, and then it's going to hit Venus. And that's going to be, Uranus just going through the 6th house when it aspects something is going to be like a job loss. So this is June of 2025. I am not saying you can't work until then, but that maybe this is when you find the new thing you really want to do. Or, maybe at this point you're working part-time, or you're working at something that's just for now, and then this is when you change it to the thing you want to be doing. Usually when Uranus makes aspect to the ruler of your midheaven, it's like you're doing something that has more freedom attached to it, or lets you be yourself more. So I do think the fact that this has the potential of change, and right now you're dealing with something you don't want as much, would make sense. Also around June, I know we're looking at the future here, but I see good things coming up. So I want to bring your attention to some of that. Jupiter in the 8th is going to be a really good time for you, possibly for intimacy or for paying off debt. So I'm going to tell you when Jupiter was in this sign last time, and I want you to think about what was happening then related to relationships, love, or closeness. So this would have been June of 2013 to about June of 2014, roughly. And just think of what good things were happening in relationship. And even if there were bad things, don't think about that stuff, because Jupiter wasn't doing that. Jupiter wasn't doing the bad stuff. But think about what was happening then. And okay. So it's looking like I've lost my job 3 times during this Uranus Taurus transit. That will happen. I mean, Uranus will create some instability where that is. And another thing you have in your chart here is Saturn is in a wide conjunction with Uranus, which does mean with money, there's going to be starts and stops financially. It doesn't mean you have to be stuck with that energy. If you don't like it, you can create stability, of course, but just that it's kind of a natural rhythm for you to have a job and then not have one, and then have one and then not have one. Or sometimes we'll see this with people who are freelancers. If you've ever thought about being a freelancer, because the way that money comes in is more like zap, like here's a deposit, here's a deposit, here's a deposit, rather than like 9 to 5. So hold on. Okay. So that is, let me just look and see if anything else for you. And then we will go on to our next person, because we did have someone else book here. Let me see what I see happening here that is good for you. You do have Jupiter opposite Saturn. Okay. And then Jupiter, let's see when Jupiter retrogrades over that point. I'm looking at mid-November. I bet. I don't know if it's possible you could go back to your old job, but this does feel like there might be something good here. But let's see what happened. Here's what we have to do. We have to see what happened in mid-August. Because mid-August is when Jupiter and Mars were opposite Saturn. Did you lose your job in mid-August, or was there something challenging financially in mid-August? I had a recruitment process. I've passed all stages and didn't get the offer because of restructuring. Okay, so maybe this was this time or maybe not. I'm not sure if you were responding or you were just telling me that. But here's the thing. When Jupiter comes back in next month, in a few weeks, like this is like 3 weeks away, it will hit that point, but it will not have Mars there, right? Mars is over here, and it'll be in Leo. Right now it's in Cancer. But I think maybe this might be a good offer to go back and do a work that makes money or something, because it's your planet of work hitting the money planet. So it's like you find out something you applied to wants you to come in or something. I do think maybe you'll see something good here. That doesn't mean stop looking until then or anything like that, but I do think Jupiter might help. And then Jupiter is going to come back again in the future over this point. It won't be for a few months. But Jupiter hitting the money planet does give a possibility of money, even though it's in opposition. And even though last time it was bad, that's because of Mars. Now we're going to have, in April, we're going to have Jupiter here and no Mars. So I think that you might see something positive going on at this time, especially in April. So that is what I have for you. I hope you enjoyed your reading. And we are going to go on to the next person, which is going to be our David. Okay, and then you said yes, a response. Okay, yeah. So I don't know if that was the recruitment and you didn't get the offer. Maybe mid-November they come back and say, actually, maybe we can fit you in. And then, I don't know, maybe something else good happens in April. I'm not sure. But I have high hopes for you. And I wish you the best. Okay, so let's go on now to David. Okay, I'm gonna find you in here, David. See if I've read for you before or not. On these lives, guys, it's so many. I've done readings for so many people, which I love. But sometimes I don't remember your names. Especially on YouTube, because you guys got these YouTube names. Okay, I'm going to put you in here. Let us know in the comments if you are here. And okay. Why it's okay. Okay, I have to see what you asked for, David. Blessings, perfect. They're all perfect, but... Oh, first time, perfect, welcome. Okay, so I'll pull up your chart. Anyone else thinking about booking, you can use the link at the top to book. Oh my God, this is making me nuts. Okay. Yes, I know where Ecuador is. I majored in Spanish, so I do know a little bit. Okay, let's Let's do this. Okay, so we have your chart here. We're going to do blessings. And for anyone else jumping on, you guys can book with me now using the link at the top of the chat. All right, so we're going to David's chart and we're going to do blessings. So starting that timer. Okay, so for blessings, hello Jupiter in Cancer with the sun. I know Chiron's here, but still. Jupiter in Cancer in the 11th is probably going to give you some really good friends. Friends that want to take care of you, or even, right, because Jupiter in your chart rules your 4th house of home and your 7th house of relationships. So your family and or your partners might, I don't know, buy you a house at some point, or like help you if you need to paint your house, or your mom or your dad might babysit your kids, or you just maybe had parents who were like when you were young, they were very nurturing, but Chiron's here. And so it's like, maybe your family helps you make friends, and maybe when you're in a relationship, they help you make friends. Either way, let's actually, to understand what this blessing is, let's go back and see what happened the last time Jupiter was here, because we have Jupiter is about to be in Cancer next year, where it's going to conjunct that point, and that's going to be very, I'm messing this up. It's going to be like the natal promise of this Jupiter will get released. So what was happening in 2013 from like June of 2013 to like maybe even in October or September, and then even through that until like June-ish of 2014. Whatever was happening then related to relationships, becoming committed, or related to the topic of home and feeling safe and feeling comfortable and having an audience or having friends or having community. I would expect this would have been a time where even though maybe there were problems like there always are in life, something going on with community was probably helping. So whatever that was, I want you to know that's coming back soon. And Jupiter in the 11th is just great for like having friends who make your life better, having a community that makes your life better, connecting in. And if you've been feeling disconnected and you feel like I don't have community at all right now, this will be a good time, like maybe after Mars leaves Cancer, like, I don't know, like, because Mars is there messing stuff up, making your Jupiter not as good, like maybe causing drama between friends or passive aggressive stuff. So I'm thinking, and that may be strong or it may be just fine, because Jupiter tends to balance things out. By April, there might be relief of that if it's a challenge. Okay, I was finishing college. I was surrounded by friends. I finished a relationship and soon thereafter started a new one. Yeah, so any of those topics. Now, I don't know if you're still in that relationship or what, but whatever stage you're at now, you can expect those kind of things and that kind of feeling to be back. And that's something I want to prepare you for, because Jupiter only goes through Cancer once every 12 years. So whatever blessings come, and that'll be a Jupiter return. So having Jupiter in Cancer makes your Jupiter return like the best it could be. Now, with Chiron here, you might have to heal from some wounds of like, I don't know, feeling like you don't fit in, even though your friends are great and you have a busy social life and things are good. You might still have some feeling like you don't quite fit in or something. But again, Jupiter will make that better, and being around the right people is almost going to heal that, I feel like. Also, what's happening right now? You have Jupiter has been in your 10th house. Now, this can actually have a more challenging effect in a sense, because it can give you more work and make you more scattered, right? So like Jupiter in, yeah, okay. So don't feel like that's going to stay that way, because I think that last comment is my current life. No relationship currently. I quit my job at a bank. Has a very NGO feel. Can maybe the 11th house-ish feel. Okay. That does feel very much more like camaraderie, connection. And if you've been isolated, then this is a chance. I wouldn't say right this second. But like this is a chance for developing that sense of community and having more of a feeling of like you're safe with the people you're with. Now, okay, Jupiter is retrograding, is going to retrograde over your midheaven. So you might be kind of reassessing what you want to be doing in career, or just like have a bunch of balls in the air. And I think there's going to be a big focus on like what's changing or shifting for work. But then when Jupiter goes direct for you, for everyone, but for you, it's in your 12th house. This is going to be roughly in March. I think you're going to see more growth. And I would predict something really good happening because Jupiter moon is like, yay. This is like very good, right? Because the moon is like what we need. Jupiter's like, oh, you get something you need. You get something you love. You get something you like. The moon rules your 11th house. Let's see, actually. Okay, we're going to see what happened when Jupiter was here before, if you got a bonus or if you were dating someone. And I know you said no relationship, but think about what was happening at the, let's see, like first week of August. Was this when you got your new job? Was it something else good that's like nourishing and supportive to you beginning? Whatever was starting at this time or whatever energy was going on here, we're going to see a return to that energy or that feeling around Christmas. And then again, the Jupiter's going to come back, and that's going to be, I think something good will happen here. Definitely. Sometimes, and I'm not saying it has to be this, but sometimes you have a baby. So if you are not in a relationship and you don't want kids, keep that in mind. But also if you meet someone in that time and you do want kids, keep that in mind, just keep it in mind. It doesn't guarantee every time, right? Because Jupiter will hit the moon once every 12 years and we all don't have kids every 12 years. So it's not that cut and dry, but you do have a lot of stuff in your 7th house at that time. So just know that. Let's see. Oh yeah, perfect. Got investors to commit capital, stuff like that. Okay, so maybe you'll be reassessing those themes or revisiting those themes when Jupiter goes retrograde, and then moving forward with whatever was invested, or either that, or possibly when Jupiter hits the moon again. This is going to be in February. Maybe this will be another time where you need more investing or something, but I'm not predicting any kind of problems or anything. It's just like when Jupiter's in Gemini, it's almost like you're in your 10th. It's like you're getting all the paperwork ready, and you're getting it's like you're kind of scattered, you're like pulling it all together and realizing suddenly how everything's not ready. And you're like trying to figure it all out, which is fine. But then I do think, when Jupiter goes into Cancer again, that's June of next year, I think there's potential gain, a lot of potential gain, because for you in particular, because of what you're doing now to like plant those seeds. So it's like the seeds you're planting now when Jupiter's in the 10th, you might make the real money from in June. And if that makes sense for your timeline, even better. Okay, so let me see what else we might notice here. I do see Saturn is right on your descendant, opposite your ascendant, which is kind of it's kind of a crappy transit because it sort of makes life harder. So you might just have more work going on. And Saturn was here before. I'll tell you when. And then I'll tell you it's going to move and it's going to get off of that point. But it was here back in March. So think about now, think about March, think about feeling isolated in relationships, think about feeling like you have so much work to do. bogged down with responsibilities, a little bit of all that stuff. And then, considering that Saturn's also squaring Mercury and your midheaven, which means it's just a time right now where you're buckling down and getting the work done. Saturn is squaring the moon. So it could feel, if you're thinking about relationships and friends, it can just feel dry, like where's the nurturing? Where's the love? Where's the fun community? And that can be because you have so much responsibilities on your plate. But sometimes when Saturn goes through the 7th, one of the things that happens, regardless of whether you're in a relationship or not, is the people in your life, you tend to start realizing if there are people in your life who are more than they're worth, who are more trouble to you than they are worth. Sometimes when Saturn's in the 7th, you cut them out and you're like, I'm not dealing with this anymore. You can't call me at 2 a.m. drunk anymore. You can't do this. You can't do that. Whatever those problems might be. Now, don't think Saturn in the 7th means you have to be single that whole time. Sometimes people make commitments in relationships. So if you're hoping to have a season of life where you have a relationship and you do settle down or something, that is actually a possibility with Saturn in the 7th at some point during that next, year and over a year where Saturn's still here. And then even when it goes, I think it comes back and goes back into Aries. So you have a lot of time for that to translate into commitment if you want it to. Also, Uranus is hitting Venus. Venus rules your money. Bam, that's a change to your finances, like a sudden change. And sometimes, with Uranus hitting the money planet, it will be a job change or something, but other times it will also be like Uranus brings freedom to that planet. It makes you more free. It makes you more able to do what you want to do and have authenticity in that area. So we see another aspect in April. So I think in April, I do think there will be positive momentum or positive change. Maybe whatever you're working on investing in now that's when the seeds grow or something, because we have change to your money, but then we have Jupiter on Mercury making it better, and Mercury rules your midheaven. So I'm seeing a positive change here. Also, when Uranus is in the 9th and it hits planets there, you can also change what you believe about life. And that is literally happening right now, where maybe you don't believe in, maybe you now after this moment, you believe in astrology or there's something else bigger in your life happening now or about to happen that's going to change your whole belief system and your whole philosophy on life and your whole outlook on what God is or on what the universe is or what things mean. Sometimes you'll separate from a church or a belief system. But okay. So then, more business oriented for Saturn. That's fine. If you're having good things, that's great for Saturn. If it's not bringing you problems, that's wonderful. Employee to self-employed, and that would make sense, right? The freedom, the freelancing. Okay, so we'll have to stop there just because of time. But you have things to look forward to for sure. Oh, you know what? Okay, I'm going to move on just because of time. And so Laurent is next. Laurent, do you want to say something in the comments about just say who you are, I mean. Okay, so while you are doing that, I'm going to be putting your info in here to my chart software. And anyone else? There's still openings. Okay. Laurent is here. Okay. Okay, so David, I hope that was helpful. And Laurent, no worries about the English. That's not a problem. And let me see what you asked for. Transits. Oops. Okay. So let me pull those up. And then let's see what is happening for you. Okay, so we have Jupiter in the 7th, Uranus in the 6th, Saturn in the 4th. Yeah, Saturn in the 4th, oftentimes you're going to feel like you're not quite reaching your full potential. And so trying to work on your own to be independent and self-employed. Whoops, let me show the chart. Let me start over and show the chart. There we go. That's better. Okay, so Saturn in the 4th, great time to be planting seeds for what you want to be doing. Sometimes, though, because it opposes that 10th house, it makes matters of that 10th house move more slowly. So at this point, it's like you might just be figuring out what you want to be doing and trying to figure out what that is. But the North Node is in your 5th house saying, well, let's figure it out and let's start something new, right? It's saying like, let's start a new business. That's what it's saying. Because you have that self-employment goes in the 5th house. Aries is all about like being a self-starter, doing what you want with your life. Mercury rules your 10th house and it's right there. And then where's Venus? Venus rules your midheaven. It's over here in Taurus, which is fine. So yeah, this would be a time where you're thinking about and wanting to do that. That makes sense. That makes exact sense. Now, timing wise, the North Node will move to that 0 point of Aries around a little after Christmas, maybe early the new year. So January 4th. That doesn't mean you're going to know exactly what to do on the 4th. It just kind of will bring more focus on what you're starting, and you might be just focusing more on like how to start things up, how to get things moving, how to get them going in the direction you want them to go. This is a good time to be doing that. And let's see what else I see here. Yeah, okay, so then with Jupiter in your 7th house, that's going to help with, if you are working with one-on-one clients, it would help with that. If you are not, it might help with like building the relationships to do that. And I'm also noticing to like get business or get clients. And I think that I'm not saying you can't move forward before then, but I do think that when Jupiter goes direct in February, you might see more momentum with anything geared toward working with one-on-one people or packages or teaching. But if you're not doing that stuff, then it may not be quite as significant. Okay, so what else do I see here? Venus right now is sextile your midheaven and it's conjunct Neptune. So it makes me wonder if you're focusing on branding or projecting a certain image right now. And if you are like a day-to-day thing of like trying to impress people or connect with people or relate to new people and expand your like customer base. I don't know if that applies to what you're doing with your business, but that would make sense. And yeah, Pluto is about to leave your 2nd house in mid-November forever. So you might be feeling a bit stretched when it comes to the financial side of things and like kind of feeling like your back is against the wall, especially because Mars opposite Pluto right now is like in your money houses, right? So for you, Mars rules your, let's see, why can't I find Scorpio? Your 12th house and your 5th house. So this is going to be yeah, it's like you want to move further, but Pluto's like, oh wait, you don't have the power, or there's some energy around this of feeling like you don't, maybe you just don't have the money to invest in what you want to invest in right now. Working at home on video games, cool. Like building them, I'm guessing, or like making them or something. I see that Venus Neptune is like, are you making it look aesthetic, like very pleasing to the eye, like today and yesterday? Because that could just be what Venus is. It's like giving you a little more focus on, or a little bit of help with it, somehow a little bit of help to focus only on that or something. And then, yeah, so Pluto, Mars, this is going to get more intense here. So I'm thinking that are you like coming up against a financial deadline that's like around early November? Because that's kind of what I feel is that like November 2nd, Mars opposite Pluto is like, our back is against the wall. We got to like shoot our shot, or some kind of pressurized situation related to something you're putting out there. So I think that, yes, okay. So I think that maybe whatever pressure you're feeling right now might keep building until the 2nd. And then even maybe, let's see, and then November 3rd or 4th, we're going to see a shift, an energy shift. It doesn't mean that problem will go away, but it's like, okay, I've gotten over that hurdle. Now there's a new one, and now we're working on a different stage. So I can't say based on the movement of that transit whether the thing you're doing right now will be successful. I don't want to overpromise anything here, but I do think that you're just kind of in the pressure cooker at the moment of like feeling that financial pressure. And just like you got to get more done. So almost like so you don't end up in debt kind of a feeling, it kind of has that feeling because it's Mars in the 8th. But I still see this whole time the North Node is kind of like bringing your focus to creating those passionate works of almost like works of art in a way. Now, as far as timing goes, let me see here. Like bigger timing. Yeah, okay. So also I'm noticing that, wait a minute. Uranus only when? Let's see when it was at 24. That may have been a long time ago. I'm wondering did you start this business or start a project related to it around May of 2024? Was that like the idea phase of it or something that happened, like a disconnection of some kind? Because Uranus squared Mars. So I would think this would be a separation. And because separation or a beginning, and because the 5th house is like self-employment, makes me wonder that. Yes. Okay. I think that was an old yes. Okay. So then whatever was happening here, we're going to see, and I'll have to stop after this part. We're going to see in November, so end of November, Uranus is going to come back and create another change or adjustment or like a little bit of like, okay, now we got this out, we have to do something else now. Like, so either it might stop the project or start a new one or something, and then it's going to be there again in March. So I don't feel like you're out of the woods when it comes to the changes you're going through. It does feel like it's a kind of almost like an unstable time a little bit, and it's just kind of what might be happening here. And let me see. Yeah, the project, I'm going to say maybe started around that period, initiated. Yeah, so maybe those dates I just gave will be the end and then the beginning of something new, and then the end of one and then the beginning of something new kind of a thing. So maybe in March you start a new project or something. But I feel like let's see actually if it keeps coming back again, because sometimes Uranus is going to enter Gemini, but the question is, does it come back? I don't think it'll hit that Mars again. Nope. Okay, so after like March, I would think that you might feel like things start to stabilize in a way at that point. I do think Saturn squaring your ascendant right now is making life, it makes life feel heavy. It makes life feel filled with responsibility. It makes life feel like you just got stuff to do. And with Saturn in the fourth, it can make it feel like I got stuff to do, but I got no skills, or I got no recognition. I got no, if you can be really aware of the professional goals you've yet to have reached when Saturn's in the fourth. And the way to work with that is to plant seeds and to just focus on what you want. Where do you want to be in 14 years? And I know that's not what someone with 3 planets in Aries wants to hear. None of us do. But it does feel like that's kind of the season. And it doesn't mean you're going to be stuck in this slow mode for that long. It just does feel like it's a time where you're slowly building things. You feel that Saturn square. Yeah. Well, it is going to move away from that, right? So starting now, right? Because like Saturn goes direct. Oh, Saturn goes direct in next month, in a few weeks. It goes direct. I'm going to warn you, this is not going to be fun for you. This will be the slowest part of it. Is like the sort of feeling of like things are going slow, they're not moving, blah, blah, blah. All of that is probably going to be strong until about this point, mid-November, and then it'll begin. It might still feel a little slow, but then it'll start to speed up and speed up and speed up. And then that it'll just slowly, day by day, get less and less and less and less. I'm sorry if that was not good news, but the good news is that it's going to end. You're not going to be stuck with that same level of slowness or stuckness or inability to move forward, or feeling of like you have more work than you can do kind of thing forever. So hopefully that feels like good news. That was the intention. Okay. So we're going to stop there because of time, and that anyone jumping on can actually still book with me. Okay. So how that works is if you are here, you can just click the link in the top of the chat, and then it will take you to my booking page where you can make your appointment. And it's first come, first serve. So the next person who books is going to be the next person I read. And I'm going to take a quick bathroom break, and then I'll be back. And maybe someone will book by then. And if they do, then they'll be the next person I read. So don't go anywhere. I'll be right back. Okay, you guys are still here. Okay, so for anyone jumping on, what we are doing is we're doing live readings where you can book with me and I read your chart. So the way it works is you click the link at the top to book it, and then it takes you through the process, and then I read your chart right here. It's super fun. We've done a few today, and we have time for more. So if you want to get yours, you should do it now. Because it's fun. It's actually super fun to check out your transits and stuff like that. All right, guys. So yeah, I'm going to show you guys how to do it. So what you do is, and then, okay, so I want to answer some of the people who are might still be here. I think there was someone earlier. Quinn, I'm not sure if you're still here. If you are still here, these are not free. These are paid. So you can book it at the link at the top. Same to you, Kavita. And let's see. I'm just seeing if there was anyone else. Okay, I think that's it. All right. How is everyone feeling as Mars comes into that opposition with Pluto? Any crazy power struggles? Any inflammation in your life? Okay. Hi, Sonic Boomin. All right, so, okay, I'm going to show you guys how to do this. So what you do is you go, okay, so this is a screen you should be seeing if you're on a computer, desktop. And then so you're going to find the link at the top of the chat and you're going to click that. And when you click that link, here's what you're going to see. It's going to take you to this page. And you can ignore that it says 6 p.m. I just do that because if I do it for right now, it will just a minute later disappear. So whoever books this next will be next. So you hit book, and then it takes you to this page where it explains what it is. This is live. Anyone can see it. If you're not here, if you book it and you're not here, I'll do it anyway, blah, 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 blah. And then you put your name, your first name, your last name, your phone number, your email. And then you have to do your month, day, year of birth, and where you were born, what time you were born. And then you have to say yes. And then you choose your topic. Blocks is going to be the biggest challenge in your natal chart. Blessings is going to be what I see going for you, what you have to work with, what area of your life is most likely to have benefits based on where it is in the chart. And then, or we could do transits, which is like the energy report of what's going on now. And usually with transits, I'm going to be telling you what I think is the most important. Maybe good stuff coming up, bad stuff coming up, bad stuff happening now, when it's going to end, good stuff happening now. That's kind of what I'm looking for when I'm looking at transits. So little minor details aren't usually what I'm focusing on. I'm trying to find the big stuff. Okay, so that is how you do that. And if you guys want to do that, it needs to be done soon, because if not, I will be jumping off. And that is what we are doing. So a lot of people, I started doing these quite a while ago because I felt like, I mean, I don't know how you guys feel, but do you want to chat in the comments where you, like, how did you find this channel? Was there a certain video you saw? I felt like a few years ago, actually, I felt like anyone can just read about a planet in a sign. You know, I felt like that's not really demonstrating that I can read a chart or making people want to book with me that much. So I thought if I did some live readings, it would not only be fun, but it would also give people a chance to see what my reading style is like, so that they knew I would know I'm a real astrologer mostly. When I started, I just wanted people to know I could really do astrology, and I also wanted to be able to support the channel, and so it was doing all those things. So if you're just jumping on and you don't know what we're doing, tonight is live readings. I thought this would be a great way to spend Saturday early evening for me over here in Vegas. And if you want to book one, you can use the link at the top of the chat to book. This is the last call for booking, so I'm going to give it a few more minutes, and then if there are no bookings, I'll be shutting them down. So if you have been thinking about it and you want to do it, now is the time. And also, I have a new thing. I have a new offer I can share with you guys as well. And that is, let me find it. Yeah. I'm going to show it. I thought this one would be fun for like Halloween. So I did one, not too creepy, but like just creepy enough. Yeah, so we're doing Embrace Your Shadow. And that is going to be, let's use this. Okay, so it's a 10-minute video about your self-sabotage, hidden patterns, and subconscious energies. The 12th house is really misunderstood in astrology, and I think a lot of people are drawn to it because it has this mysterious quality to it. Let me know in the comments if you feel drawn to the 12th house. And so I made these little mini readings so you can get one. And it can tell you about like self-defeating habits, your psychological nature, and also a little bit about, becoming more authentic by understanding how your subconscious patterns affect your life. Do they affect your money? Do they affect your, pride? Do they affect your family? What area of life are they going to show up in? And so this is a recorded video that you can get that's more private. So for some of you who are on here, especially if you're on here and you're like, oh, I'd love to do it, but I don't want it to be public, this is a great way to get a mini reading with me that is more private so that it's not public on the YouTube channel. Now, if you're not afraid of that and that doesn't worry you, well then this might be the time for you to book with me right now, where you could get blocks, blessings, or transits. So I'm going to give just a couple more minutes, and then if no one books, we'll shut it down. But if someone books, we'll keep it open. Gunning to win. What does this mean, Sonic Boom? Gunning to win a multi-million-dollar case. Are you a lawyer? Okay, last call. I'm gonna close it down here. So if you're jumping on and you're like on the page right now to book, it's gonna go through. But anyone else, it's going to, I'm going to shut it down. And I always do this when I'm live because if I don't, then I end the video and someone books, and that's no bueno. We don't want that. I'm trying to do it. Here we go. Okay. Okay, so the booking is now closed. Thank you to everyone who booked today. Believe it or not, those little things really help the channel a lot. And I will see you all beautiful souls in the next video. Bye, guys.